This is Introduction to Kenshi, and basic explanation of the controls, and an overview on how to start up a game. So, we got a few options here, and this might seem a bit obvious. Here you have a difficulty level and startup, and easy, hard combination, kinda hard, normal, easy, hard, hardest. But I find there's really one or two. There's two different difficulties. There's this one, which is absolute rock bottom, which is pretty hard, and then you have everything else. Um, with the exception of maybe the one with maybe this one is a bit complicated because it is easier, but it is hard because you need to know the game's basics, because this is basically where you start building your own civilization, which is completely outlandish to actually assume that you can do so with this amount of resources. Um, in terms of human resources, I should say. Um, this is the default setting, and I don't really recommend it, and for a few reasons I'll elaborate on. Mainly, you start out with 1,000 cash. Well, that sounds great, but what you'll realize is what you're doing in this game mainly is making cash, and the method in which you go about doing this is the same regardless of which difficulty setting you choose. I mean, if you choose the easy hard combination here, you got a few different people. Yeah, I think you start out with like 4 or 5 people. Um, this becomes a little bit easier, but still hard in its own way because there's a lot of management and stuff that goes on. Um, the one that gives you skills is really um, most valuable, right? Um, so this one is just absolutely hard because you have no skills, you have no money, and you're in the middle of nowhere. Default, you have 1,000 money, you have no skills, you have uh, nothing to buy, really. I mean, you could buy a backpack, maybe, you could buy some basic trade materials, but that's not even gonna. That's not actually there to help. I mean, that's not going to help you out too much because that's going to give you limited investment. This one, at least, you come up with a few people with skills, some people without skills, and you get plenty of resources to start off with. Geared out men with backpacks and stuff like that. It's pretty easy, um, but it's like I said, it's also hard because you have to manage these people, and there are some dependencies of protection that has problems. The kind of hard one is the one where I would say it's actually the one I prefer to start off with because you start off with plenty of skills, and your downside is you have no cash, but as I'll go into this later, you'll see that's not actually that important. Um, you are enemies with another state, which is not actually a problem because this state is secluded up into a certain part of the map, and this part of the map you don't exactly have to explore until you're ready to go and kick some ass. So, I'll be showing this one, and I'll give it a comparison to, actually, I don't even think I might not need to give it a comparison, but the ideal is, if we head into here, and let me just load this up. So, what I'm going to be showing is mainly the there's two different ways you can make money, and there's one that I prefer, simply just because I believe in the way that I've seen it. It is more optimal. Um, we'll name my character Duck Scout, and it's just the usual. Make sure he's not glitchy at all. Okay, we're fine. So, what do we get? We got a character with Little bit of lag to start off with, but should go away. There you go. So we got a hat, fancy hat. We have a decent shirt. Not even bad pants, actually. I mean, it gives us a little bit of resistances, and even not even that bad shoes. Our sword is actually decent for this type of thing. Gives us a defense bonus and an attack bonus. Well, what does that mean? It also has a weight, a value, and a trade value. Well, looking at our stats on our character, let me close this window to see this real quick. Actually, we'll reopen that because we want to further look at this and compare this. So, what you'll see is we have over here, we have melee attack, we have melee defense. These are actually quite high if you see, seeing that the other difficulty levels you generally start these all out at 0 with all your characters, and that is, as I'll explain, very hard because it takes a long time to train up these skills, and having 20 in all these categories means you have specific skills towards weapons. And even over here, if I go to strength, well, this is the interesting part, because if I go over here, this has a weight, 4 kilograms, and, or I don't know what you would call it, I think it's kilograms. Maybe it's kilograms. Okay, I think it's kilograms. I'm not sure. Screw the metric system. So we see the total weight, 9 out of 40, which is great, but I will actually show you a comparison of what you start off with, but this is pretty high. My dexterity is also high. This is what affects my ability to like dodge and all that stuff, and I have a medic skill of 10. This means I can heal myself with resource effectively, I would say. Laboring, I mean, I got skills everywhere, don't I? I mean, this is pretty nice. Athletics doesn't have anything, but that's just to run really fast when you don't have much weight on you. And strength is to actually be able to go fast without having with having a lot of weight on you, right? So what this weapon does right here when it gives me an attack bonus or a defense bonus is it adds or subtracts these numbers, right? So it will add to my melee attack and take away from my melee defense. At least that's how I believe it to work. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. You'll see there's blood loss, there's a blood loss multiplier, there's a blunt damage, and then there's a cutting damage. So the ideal is I have my blood, I have my individual parts of my body, and this green bar indicates their level of fullness. Okay, so I have 93 blood. That's actually quite high. That's based off of these stats as well. How exactly it's formulated, I'm not entirely sure, but I know it comes off of strength and probably some of the dexterity. I'm not sure actually. So we have that. We have a bleeding amount. Well, we're not bleeding at all, so that's good. And all these that are at 100, when they go into the negative, that generally means you're due to go unconscious soon. When your blood goes negative, you are dead. Would make sense, right? So if I get cut, it might be bleeding, 1 to 2. Maybe actually I think it was like 1 or 2 points every second or so. And that's depending on the cutting damage that has been inflicted upon me, right? So 0.55, that's actually not that bad. And then the blood loss is 0.5. It's a multiplier, so it does some weird math that makes it balance out right. I hear they rebalanced this recently, so it looks better. Moving on, we have the last thing we haven't discussed, which is the value and the trade value. Well, the value is how much could I buy this weapon for? And that would be 3,076 cats, I think the currency is called. And the trade value is simply what could I actually sell it for. That's only 615. So that's actually not that bad, because if we would downgrade a sword, then if we didn't want a sword and we wanted to trade, we could basically get 1,000 just between the just between the sword maybe and the shirt. Actually, I think the shirt goes for, yeah. The shirt will go for the the shirt's almost as expensive as it's half as much as the sword is. So that right there could be your 1,000 you start off with the trade, and then I have some boots on. Not too valuable, but certainly there. Certainly something. So, 0 money, plenty of skills, plenty of weightlessness. Let us go over to the store, and let me explain my point a little bit further. Go over to the weapons store right here. You can move the camera using WASD. You can pan it like this, or I don't know what it'd be, rotate it. Pan it by holding Control or middle mouse button. Right click on the map with the selected character. You can click and drag to highlight things, or you can go ahead in here and you can shift click all your units if you'd like. Right click on things to like perform an action on them. Hold right click to get more advanced options. So in here we have a salesman, and he's selling some blades. Well, as you can see, I'm just gonna kind of briefly hover over all these. What you'll see quite quickly is the value on these are all in the multiple of thousands, and the only decent weapon, this is going to be the most decent weapon in here. I'll explain that thing here real quick. This one's 1,000. Oh, sorry, that's the trade value. It's 5,300 cats. You know, getting a decent weapon at the beginning, well, that's not going to help you out at all. You're not going to be able to afford it, number one, and I mean, even this very simple weapon, which isn't even all that good. I mean, comparing these two to my current equipped weapon, I mean, I might choose mine, but because that blood loss multiplier is quite high compared to these ones. Actually, no, it's not. It's actually quite low, but because it's a 0.5, but still, there's value in katana. There's just I'll kind of let you explore this by yourself, but the ideal is that these blades do different types of damages in different places, whereas this plank does a lot of blunt damage, and does a lot of cutting damage. It's kind of a balanced, heavy weapon with really slow and all that. It's also quite expensive to get the decent ones. The toppers, on the other hand, are completely cutting oriented. I mean, they have virtually no blunt damage whatsoever. They're also pretty lightweight, and then the katanas, which I'll just go over here because these are actually katana class weapons, but they just have a weird name I don't want to try to pronounce. They have an attack bonus on them, number one, because they're fast and easy to use. They're also really lightweight, and they do a lot of cutting damage, and they do plenty of blood loss, right? So you have these, and then you have also the model and the manufacturer, and basically the quality of the weapon will give you better stats on the weapons. This will probably be more iterated on future builds, but the gist of it is the better the manufacturer, or the better the model number of the weapon, the more better the weapon is. I mean, this was a model industrial 07 manufactured by Old Eye Blades, which is a faction, I think, maybe. And then you have this one, which is 003 by another one who's, makes knockoff eye blades, right? So, basically knocking off this guy's brand. So, clearly this is a superior weapon than that, so, the stats-wise at least. And here's another decent one. You can kind of tell by the colors as well. I mean, that these three weapons right here are going to be the best weapons in the store. This changes with the manufacturer and stuff, but there are just some decent manufacturers that are really good, and looks like I found a bug. Anywho, so basically there's nothing here I could buy. I mean, there's some blueprints here, which can be used to craft weapons of these types. More on that probably in a later video. So then we'll go down here, and so we couldn't buy a weapon. Okay, well, what could we buy? Well, Let's find another store. Right across the street, I believe, is a tavern. Here's an armor store. Well, let's go over here. Let's go see what we can do in the tavern. You can recruit people in tavern to join your party and control them much as you do your main character, or exactly as you do your main character. Now that we're in here, well, we can go over to this guy. This guy looks like he's a fighter of some sort. Would you like to hire a sword? So he's a, some sort of professional fighter. I can just tell you offhand, he'll have 10 in each category of stats, and that's not bad, 10. I mean, that's actually pretty decent at using swords and all that. He'll have 10 athletics and 10 strength, so he can carry stuff. I can't afford him. He wants $2,500. Cats. Which would then at that point make me spawning in with 1,000 cats really not that useful for him. Well, what does this guy want over here? This guy looks like another sword. That's actually a pretty decent start. The thing I can explain this right now, because over in the other tavern, I'll go over here real quick. Actually, no, let's show you the armor first, because we're just right here. I don't want to run around the town too much. And go up there. Go up there. There we go. So, well, let's look what we can afford here. Well, you won't be surprised with this, but obviously, best armor in the store currently. It's I'm just gonna point it out and say it's the best armor because I know it is. 15,000. That is a bit out of price. Actually, everything here seems to be a bit out of price. Even this lower end armor here is still way out of price. I mean, 2,300. That's twice what you would spawn with. I mean, then the shirt, like I said, and you have the boots. Even the boots are really expensive. And this is Armor Trader. He does armor. This is obviously covering certain. You'd think it's self-explanatory. Yeah, so that would be useful. And the other point is, as well, is if I even had the money to buy this, with 0 skills, this right here alone is 3 kilograms. This is if I go to some bigger armor, this is 18, right? Well, I already have 9 on me because my sword is around 4, and so you're going to be adding all this. You're going to be quite full soon. Not my character, obviously, because I can hold 40, but what I'll show you here in a second might startle you. Which is, I go over to this other tavern over here. You can fast forward time here. You can pause it by pressing spacebar, or pressing again to unpause it, or pressing the arrows here to make it go faster. Right. So now that we're over here, what does this guy have to say? Meow. That's a cute name. Are you interested in joining up? Well, yeah, sure, 700 cats. Well, I can't afford that, but so this is basically the first thing we found that we can afford with 1,000 cats. Which is actually not a decent looking woman. So we'll buy that in a minute, but yeah, it looks like we have another person here. 700 cats, okay. And then this person over here is going to be a plastic surgeon who's going to want to sell me his ability. Oh, we could afford that if we had 1,000 cats, but we don't. He's wanting to cut us up and allow us to do your character if you'd like and rename him and stuff. Well, let's go over the clothing trader. Maybe we can buy maybe an armored vest or something. Just saying, I'm just trying to give you a comparison of what your 1,000 cats will really give you, because that's the only thing you're getting. Well, this is the best armor, the chain suit. Well, that's 16,000 right there. I think that's the most expensive item we've seen today. This is $10, or sorry, 50. This doesn't even give us anything though. This doesn't give us anything. Yeah, there's that. Well, this one actually gives some decent stuff, but it's 396. Actually, not all that bad. Note the 0 between the 0.0 blunt resistance, which is not that bad, but overall, not too bad. just overall, I mean, this decent pants right here, it's still costs, $1,000 for pants. Well, that's fine. I don't mind it because what you'll see is we can make money. I mean, just with this character, I won't be doing any combat. Hell, I'll assume I sold my sword because I don't need it to make money. Um, so this is a city. There's obviously kind of already assumed you knew all this. Signs dictate what it is. This is armor. Kind of has that look of a piece of armor that's in here. This is for hats. Kind of has a desert punk look to it. A tavern. Police station is where you can turn in people who have bounties. Sword or weapons dealer. Inn where you can pay to sleep in a bed. $100 per sleep, I think, but it could charge you every now and then. So I don't exactly know how that. It's kind of a bit weird for me. And then you have the clothing trader over there. Can't see because I'm reach my maximum distance. And then there's a trade icon on the one way back here, but it don't matter. We'll come back. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to run out into the wastelands here, and we're going to find some bad guys, because, well, here's why. These guards right here will protect this city to the death, and these guards, if we click on them, by left clicking, we can see their stats. Well, their stats are, well, they're a mercenary, they're from the Dead Cat, they're a guard, and they have 23 strength, 23 dexterity, 17 attack, defense skill. So they're actually around my level, and I mean, some of them are a little bit, actually, yeah. So they're all around my level, and that's fine. But there's a lot of them, right? So, well, this one's at 29. This guy must be like a leader or something. So yeah, I mean they're all pretty decent. So they will just basically, they're kind of like just the guys that will screw you up. They can die, of course, like everything, but they're made strong enough to take on all the gangs of troops, and maybe even twice the gangs of troops. These are some random roaming people. I kind of like these additions to the game. It is in development, so there will be features added to it, on a timely manner. But go out here, see if we can find some ninjas or something to chase us. And the ideal is that when a bad guy sees you, they're going to want to chase you, and what we can do is just have them run into those guards up at the city, and I don't really need a backpack to carry the stuff because it's just right there next to the city, so why not pack as much as I can on me, even if I overfill my weight, which on this character I'm not likely to do still, and then trade all their stuff. And as we can see, even basic combat equipment is worth quite a bit of money, so I mean, not that they'll have stuff that rivals that quality, but selling a sword for 200 cats, well, 200 cats isn't that much, but when you have 8 of those swords, and then their armor, it can give you quite a pretty penny. I'm turning on the fast forward to make my character, make this not be so timely. Let's see. Oh, I should also cover this real quick while I'm just waiting here for a minute. If I go to the map, they've now added the color coding. So these cities, the red cities up here, are hostile to me. Right, so all these cities are hostile to me, but these ones are all friendly. So, not going back here, but being able to go over here and over there, that's not that bad. I think it's random, but because the other time I think it was the other way around. I think it was just I'm not sure. I don't remember these ones being red. Well, I believe these ones were red, and then there's maybe a few others, but other than that. So I see a message over there saying run away. We'll go over there and see what that's all about. It's probably someone chasing somebody. So we'll go over there. You can note my character's running quite fast. And even if I slow it down, going pretty fast. Um, whereas newer skilled characters would never go that fast. So I'll just explain this real quick. The blocks only is your character will take a only defensive attack. You can hover over things, get tooltips. Non-combat mode, when means they'll avoid combat. Chase, they'll always chase the opponent they are told to attack. And then they can taunt, which will try to get more aggression from the bad guys onto them other than others. They'll be adding ranged combat soon, but that's currently not in, so no problem there. And then they have medic and rescue. You can click medic and your character will start healing people in his party around him, and he'll consume a medical kit, which we don't have actually, but that is okay. They're not actually that expensive. Well, looks like we found a group of baddies over here. Nope, it looks like good guys are chasing one bad guy. So we'll go over here and try to stop this guy. See if he wants to. Yeah, he wants to attack me, I think. Yeah. And I don't think I'll be able to catch up to him, so we'll let him go away and let them chase him. Some traders over here. And here's some bad guys. Right up here. There's a group of them. And that's the other point I really need to bring up is you don't see individual bad guys running around. You see groups of bad guys running around. And this is, if I just pause real quick, that's what? 3, 6, 9, 10 bad guys. No amount of skills will allow you to take on 10 guys. It's just not possible. I mean, even if the skills were theoretically at 100, which would take quite, I think is the maximum even, but it would take forever. But I'll know right here, I can easily run away from them. I mean, they're quite paced up with me, but they're not that hard to get away from me, right? So, just running alone is going to be fine for me, right? And this actually can even be if I'm walking. If I'm walking, they won't be able to get out of their run animation fast enough to smack me. Although occasionally they will get a blow on you, so you will start bleeding, and you won't make it forever, but you can make it quite a distance if you micromanage it enough. I'm going to fast forward it. I'm going to take them up to there's a city right up here, but I'm going to take them over here because I want to show this off a little bit more. And you can run forever. I want to also demonstrate that. I mean, you can run forever. There's no energy in the game. I think if they added energy, they would just make this game impossible. Because if I had like an energy where I got tired, I mean, they would have it too, so they get tired as well. But I'd hate to get tired and then get hit by another gang of men. But so as soon as I approach the town, you'll see that they approach me. And oh look, it looks like somebody is trying to hero them. Nope. Nope. Oh, poor guy. Just sealed his fate, didn't I? He's unarmed too. Poor little feller. He'll have a problem. He should have ran to a town like me. But he's being a boob. And now the guards see all the bad guys, and they're like, oh hey, well, there's plenty of guards here. And they have tons of armor, and like I showed earlier, they have tons of skill as well. And I'm just going to go over here. Now, at this point, if I had if I'm assuming I didn't have a sword and didn't have any skills, I could go in here and participate. Okay, and if my character started bleeding a lot, I'd just, kind of have them run out of combat, because they'd all be preoccupied enough. But, that's really the beauty of it, right, is I don't have to do much work here. Granted, this is all subject to change, but currently, this is the best way, and honestly, I have no remorse doing this. I don't feel it's an exploit or anything, because you're putting a lot of risk going out there, and like I said, one man, he can't take on all this. There's just no conditioning, no skill to do just no way to do it, right? I mean, it's pretty realistic in that sense, I reckon. You know, and just go in here to speed this up. Now, if I do have one complaint, I will say sometimes you get men that surround it, and you only get one guy that goes like a one-on-one deal. Um, Sometimes your men won't do it, so I can just go in here. They're all healing themselves. Well, she has a cleaver. Well, how much is this worth? Trade value, $200, right there. Med kit. Well, that's worth 25. Oh, sorry. It's 200 charges, and it's worth, because it's a trade item as well, it's worth 100 and yeah, it's worth 157. Its average price is the objective value to the thing, which I don't which is basically 100% is objective value, but I will not do that. To sort out the enemies, I generally take off their clothing and stuff, but they seem to have removed the... Oh, don't tell me they're naked. Oh, that's just weird. Okay, so let's go over here. This guy, well, this guy has a sword that's worth 209, and a med kit. Sounds great. That guy's not... Well, he's just a hat trader, just out here. Probably wanted to see the fight. We got two guys we looted there. Another med kit. Another $200. And another $200 probably. Well, actually that looked a bit lower quality. Oh yeah, only 178. Did I already loot this one? Yeah, I did. Sorry. And then we have this one. We have that med kit. Right, and then we have this med kit. And I don't have enough space for another sword, so yeah. And I'm at 45 out of 40, so I'm a bit overweight. Might not update it well, but I can still run, which is great. And if I look at all these bad guys and their stats, I'll see that none of them have a bounty real quick. Oh, you can also see how damaged they are and stuff. They're all not going to be getting up ever, probably. They're all probably going to die. I mean, this one's... If they stop bleeding, and they will slowly recuperate. When you bandage, which I'll cover in a little bit when I actually get in some combat. I'll show you all that. So actually go in here to the hat trader real quick and just... you can, if the guy's not in the shop, you can click on the desk here, and I believe you can sell it to him that way. You just test it out real quick. Nope. I think I have to click on the other desk. Nope. Okay, just... Generally, they have a desk where all their stuff is stored. We'll go over here, next door, and prove that I'm right. So if I click on this desk, this is the guy's thing, and I can just right-click and sell it. Now I have 150 just from selling that, just from selling the med kits. I have 1,000 money. Just from selling all that, I now have 2,000. Well, that's kind of cool, because if we can recall, I mean, for 2,000 cats, I can buy a few things, but I'm not done yet. I'm only like halfway done, aren't I? So let's go back over here. And these are like savages here. These aren't even, they don't have any armor on or anything. They're just you know, cannibals, I believe. Yeah, they're just cannibals. I mean, they like eat people. I hear they even just capture you and take you to their base and do all kinds of experimenty things on you. Okay, I'm making sure I covered all the bases. I think that's all of them. Just making sure. Don't want to leave anything behind. I mean, look how valuable this stuff is. I'll just show you this real quick. If you hold the right click, you get loot, pick up, first aid. You can do all kinds of things, right? I mean, I can go and pick them up and then do that, and then bring them over here. If I hold my right click again on top of my character and put them down, it's fine. If I... Yeah. So, now that I have that, I'll go back in here. And let me fast forward a little bit. Okay, so let's go over here and let's go sell some stuff. Oh, we have plenty of armor here. Well, this is all expensive, 4,000, something like that, you know. Like that. Well, I have 2,561 cats. Well, that's useful. What can we do with that? Well, I have an idea. Well, actually, we'll sell one of these too, just to make it a little bit higher. Let's go into a tavern. Let's see if we can recruit a guy. As we previously saw, they were, for a swordsman, it's 2,500, so I would have made just enough to buy a swordsman. And just to prove my point, actually I might not. So we have men that are not worth too much here, so let's just do a comparison here. I'm going to buy this woman. Alright. We're going to buy her for 700 cats. Now, let's look what we get. Well, she has 1 in everything. That's actually an update. It used to be 0. But 1's not, I mean, 1's basically the same as 0. I mean, it's so damn close. So we can see what we get here. Well, how much can... She's damaged from that fight. It wouldn't come like that normally. Let's look at her inventory. Well, what does she have? Well, looks like she actually has some stuff of value. Are they really? Really? Almost worth her value right there. It's kind of interesting. I kind of paid for herself, didn't she? She can only hold 16 kilograms. Well, my character right here, he's carrying 10. And he doesn't even have, like, armor on. He has kind of heavy sword. Doesn't have the heaviest boots. He doesn't have... His pants basically weigh nothing. It's only 1 kilogram. If they was armored pants or an armored shirt or even an armored hat, it would weigh more than that. And armored boots would weigh the hell more than that. You quickly see how 16 is just not going to be enough. This character is only using quite a bit. I mean, if you want medical supplies, which you would want, I mean, she'd be at 5. And she doesn't even have any clothing on. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see combat-wise how they perform. Let me go get them equal weapons real quick. If we can. Right, so she starts off with a... I'm actually not going to call this a terrible weapon, although it is not a good weapon. The bleeding damage thing, it's kind of new. It looks really good, though. So, we'll have these two run out there. Because they're not overweight, they'll run the same speed, which is good. Maybe I'll run a little bit faster, but we'll see. We'll go run this way. Go see what's on in the distance. This is a bandage wound, by the way, so this will heal over time. If you go into a bed, it'll heal very fast. It's a bit bright during the daytime. That's a complaint after they changed. They added new lighting features, and it seems a bit bright during the daytime and a bit awkward during nighttime, but I don't know which I prefer, actually. Make sure the town I'm going to is actually a friendly town. It is indeed. Oh, I feel my men are going the wrong. Tell them to go that way. Why are they going that way? Okay, they're just going around the dude. Where might that... There it is. Oh, look, and there's a bad guy for us to meet along the way as well. Hey, it's probably not... It's not that hard to find bad guys, but... Yeah. As we can see over a distance, my characters do get a bit separated. It's probably due to their skills, maybe. I'm not sure. But, certainly if they were, the problem here is with their weight, right? If he can hold 40 and she can hold 16, they clearly can't have the same quality of armor. And looks like we found a gang of those cannibals, or? Yeah, it's cannibals. They are not wearing clothing. That is just odd. Looks like they're gonna attack some innocent people. Looks like the town's gonna attack them regardless. I don't even need to lead them to it. Are these my guys? Where are my guys? It's the sand. I can't see the name tags. So I'm gonna tell them to go into combat and start fighting. And so they're both gonna start attacking. My character's obviously obliterating this woman. And look, they're both getting the shots. Let's hope she doesn't get hit. I don't think they go for the weakest link, but sometimes it sure does feel like it. I'm just going to town on these cannibals. These cannibals are you mean, their skill level's not that. It's kind of high, actually. They haven't had a chance to hit her, obviously because they're a bit busy with other things, but yeah. If she does get hit, we'll see how damaging that can be. I mean, he hasn't got hit once, so she was attacking her plenty. Right. Okay. Was not bad. None of my guys got injured. Go in here and take some gear. They have cleavers, which is kind of a deadly weapon. Ooh, this was a guard, I believe. If you see, his clothing was worth... Oh. Wasn't even worth money. It was just like a... his weapon sure is, though. This is a cannibal. There's no bounty, but, pretty useful stuff. Yeah. And then, okay, let's go to this character. Although they're separated with distance, they can actually still go in here and do this type of stuff, right? I can take that off, put that in there, put that there, that here. If I want better pants for this character, let's go like that. Even though these pants actually, no, these pants are good. I don't even want these pants. They're not even worth my time. Clearly. And then we'll go back to this guy. Take this weapon. As you see, these people, as I'm looting them, I mean, they can get up and go away, so I'm trying to hurry up here. So this guy's full. Let's use our other character here. Let's go over here. Try to disarm all these people and keep this all peaceful. Clearly this character's overweight now, though, and can't run. So with that amount of loot, just their inventory full, well, clearly there's a difference in speed here. I mean, it's a bit drastic even. Where he can run, she can't even. He can go her distance 3 times over again. Which is why I would just never invest in such a unit, right? I mean, it just doesn't seem like a logical thing to do. Let's try to sell as much of these as possible. Oh nice, sold everything. Let's sell all of this crud. Well, look at that. Now I have 5,600 cats, and well, I mean, if I wanted to buy backpacks, and I could buy what 5 people with that if I wanted to buy low skill level, or I could buy a weapon. I mean, this topper right here is 7,000. I mean, it's a damn good weapon. You know, or I could buy something a little bit cheaper. This is actually some good quality weapons here, so I wouldn't be able to afford them just yet. But that's the ideal. And if I run over to just complete a little bit of this, I'm almost done. We'll be wrapping this up with my conclusion here. He wants $700. Nope. And this guy, he does not look like a fighter. He's a medic. Well, actually, I'll show this off as well. So I'm gonna hire a medic for $2,500, and we'll see what I get for that money. Well, look at his stats. He doesn't even have 1 for most of these. Just 1 for defense. I mean, that's pitiful. Athletics 9, that's not bad. Medic 41, that's great, but you know, he has 20 science, that's really valuable. I mean, science is great for research and building a town, but his character is worse than the 700 one, right? I mean, skills wise, and I mean, I'm going to show off the skills to you to show you how much they actually matter when it comes to combat. So I'll be over here, and let me try to get my people to run here. I mean, he has 0 athletic skills. This character has a sword now, right? She has a sword, and she's already slow. She's already slow. And the medic, he's gonna be the same way. He's gonna be slower than my guy if he has any weight on him, because he has even less skill than her. So let's. If you want to survive out there, you need a guy. This is a really great guy. I mean, really good. Need a good medic. I just got one of these. What the hell? Okay. So we'll go and see this real quick. I'll cover trade real quick, but there's no trade, and maybe there is. Yeah, there is. I think it's a prerequisite for towns, having trade. I haven't shown you this building yet. This is a place where if you want to do the trading. Oh, they're trying to unlock the door. It's a bit odd. Or pick lock? They're picking it? Thought they said they fixed this bug. I'll just go in the other door. No need to break into that. Maybe they intend for it to be locked. Oh, they also said they had the pictures working fine, but I don't mind. It's improving as a whole, the game. So, these are the trade items, and as you can see here as well, I mean, these are so expensive. This is expensive. But, you know, a decent item like this, I could buy 2 steel bars before with 1,000. I mean, basically. You know, with this amount of low profit, I mean, if let's just say I buy it for 95% the value, so I'm buying it for 514, and I go and I sell it for a markup of, you know, 105%. That's not going to be too much money, right? If I just sell it at 100, yeah, 105%, that's going to be like, I'm not good at these numbers, but clearly there's not going to be much profit made. Not anything like the trade between 2 towns here. I mean, I went between 2 different towns. I went between this town and a town I can almost visually see, and I made, just when I arrived here, I just made a bunch of money. So, you know, and they're, like I said, as you get more men, which I'm actually starting to get, you can have. Now, if I can find a backpack guy, which we'll find in here, this is the kind of survival gear. He'll sell medic stuff, backpacks, and I believe in the future he'll sell their goodies that you need. Alright, advanced trader. There we go, yeah. So he'll sell like splint kits and stuff like that. Backpacks. So we'll buy a large backpack for, I don't want to screw up all the stats, but You could buy backpacks in here so you could carry more, but I mean, as you can see here, it removes -10 to your combat skill effect, combat speed effect as well. I mean, this would absolutely destroy any skill level whatsoever you have on your character, right? I mean, that's really what it does. So, we'll go there. Also, the medic gets an advanced first aid kit, which is really great, but just not, you know what I mean? Is it really worth it for the 2,500 you paid for the character to have? Yeah, I like that. Let me buy a cool hat. I mean, look at this hat right here. I mean, it's 5 kilograms. My guy can hold 15. I mean, and his sword, I mean, if he had a larger sword, it would be 5 there as well. So there's 5, 10, 15. Let's even assume this is 5, even though it'd be heavier, maybe. It's fine, though. We'll just give him a little hat. Alright. Let's go. Let's go see how we do in I'll try to find combat on the way. I'm going to try to run back to the other town. And we will see how we do. I mean, obviously I'm not expecting to win this fight, but I'm expecting to show... Actually, I'm going to avoid a fight until I mean, look at this. I mean, this is where it starts to get really frustrating, honestly. I mean, especially with medics, because I mean, the medic's not overcome right now because he doesn't have any gear on him. But the problem I have with it is that if this is my guys and they're running from bad guys that are right here, well, if my guys get to where they're going and this guy's behind, then how's that can go? And this distance is ever increasing, right? So I have to wait up here, and while waiting here, I'm vulnerable. So I think you can see my cause for wanting characters all at the same skill level, or at least at a higher skill level, right? So I really personally choose skill over money or anything, actually, because another thing to mention is it don't matter what this guy has in terms of blade. I mean, he's gonna get, because he's going to use it how it needs to. I mean, it doesn't... I have... Another thing I should mention, too. 75 blood on this character. 75 blood on this character. 93 on my main. That's significant. I mean, that's your literal health rate there. I mean... it's... But like I was going to say, is this character, you get cut 75, blood. If you're losing blood at a 1.5 per second, I mean, you're gonna go down. I mean, the more times I hit you, it's gonna go down. It don't matter. At that point, it doesn't matter how sharp my blade is, does it? I mean, it just matters if I get you bleeding, I'm gonna keep on hitting you, and you're not gonna hit me. So, yeah. Whereas with the medic and this guy, I mean, their combat skill goes down with carrying backpacks or gear. So, all of that comes into effect, and what you'll find is, overall, you have a deficiency. Your medic becomes so dependent. I mean, yeah. I mean, what I put on this guy, I put on a hat, boots, a standard first aid kit, and a larger sword. And he's not full in terms of weight he can carry, or weight he can carry without being overweight, but he still can't run, right? Which is fine. I don't mind the mechanic. It's just maybe there should be a balance there, but for now I'm gonna exploit it. Let me go run in this tavern here real quick, and I'm gonna go recruit one of these just swords for hires here, and I'm gonna go find some combat, and we will see how long everyone lasts. Okay. That's just a mercenary. Where's the other guy in here? There's supposed to be another guy in here. Hold on. We'll go over to this tavern, see who's over here. I'll be a little bit teed off if I don't find one of those guys here? I've been finding them everywhere. Oh, we have a, looks like an infinite wing wang here. Okay. Yeah, you need like 5,000 for that guy. Ren, no. Right, so infinite wing wing, he spawns with, he has 25 and 20 and 10 defense skill. I mean, that's really good, right? Because it's a very strong character in terms of skills. 5 grand, that's two swordsmen. I almost have enough, but point is, I mean, this character, he's gonna have plenty of strength, and he's gonna be fine with me. So, if we find combat, we'll find combat. But if not, it's all right. Not gonna. Actually, we'll run to this town over here, see what they have. Combat, though, at this point is not. It's not feasible at this moment. I mean, number one, I don't even have protective clothing on one on this guy. I mean, he can barely hold his sword, and my main character, like I said, he can't handle 5 guys. I mean, these guys can't handle one dude. He could probably handle 3 if they came up. He could handle maybe 10 if they came one at a time, but that's just not how it works out. And these guys are like I want to demonstrate. These guys are gonna get knocked out basically instantly. I mean, they're not even gonna be in the fight. They might, if I put them on blocks only, I can get their defensive skill up quite fast. But they're still taking hits. They're still dying. And if you don't have a medic, you'll find that healing men can be extremely hard. Which is again why the setting is very easy to me, is because of how I started with 10 field medic. I mean, that's a valuable skill. Because the medic skill depends, it increases the, it decreases the amount of charges you use. As you can see here, it has a certain amount of charges and the quality of the charges. Well, if I'm a terrible medic, I'll use more of these charges than if I was, a super high doctor, right, with level 42 skill or something like that. I'd use a lot more because I don't know what I'm doing, apparently. Lots of things to consider, but I think the evidence is on my side. No. This is Bertha? No, I'm not interested in your face. Or maybe I should. Should I just, let me just buy a bunch of these ladies and buy you. Just randomize you real quick. I'll just buy 2 more. Oh, look, that actually fixed the, I want a midget. There you go. Just keep that. Alright, so we'll just keep these people. Wait, I think there's another bar in here, actually. Oh, you can switch these tabs, by the way, to see your money. Okay. Oh, that's not a bar anymore, is it? They changed it, I remember. Okay, let's go back. Is there one up here? No. Only one for this town. Alright. We'll find some combat, and then this... My conclusion really is that... I said it already, but I'll reiterate on it. Skill level over money anytime. I mean, look at this. I mean, I bought a bunch of random people and getting pretty much random results in terms of things. Well, obviously their weight, has a lot to do with this. They did increase the amount of stuff they spawn with. I mean, this is worth, if I sold it both somewhere, I mean, this would be worth, about, 600 bucks. So, $600 for a 700 character. I mean, that's pretty cool, but you know, if I already had like a medic, I wouldn't need them all to be medic. I just need one of them to be medic. So something to consider, but you know, free is nothing's free, because if it has value, then it's worth something, and these things just really don't have much value. I mean, they have potential, but you don't. I mean, you don't go to the grocery store and buy seeds because there's potential to become food. It's you go there because you want food. Food has value. Seeds do too. It's just long term and investment and more costs that associate with that, right? I mean, the cost of having all these noobs is that I have to carry them along, and they're dependent on higher level skilled characters to function. And if I had the character, if I start out with a character that has 0 skills, then obviously that's not possible. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have the stronger characters carry on, so I either use the noob character and buy a bunch of skilled characters, which then the bunny ears quotations, you know, the main character that you have will be the least skilled and will, you know, make everyone get lagged behind. Whereas with this character, I mean, this character is clearly the shining star of the group, and I haven't been looking out for bad guys, but I just run into this town. Let's see what I can find. They redid the spawning and roaming of squads, so it's a little bit harder to find fights now, especially for this time. A little frustrating. It was much more crowded before, so maybe all this, like I said, is getting a little bit more out of date, and my old ways of playing the game aren't as viable anymore. But I mean, like I said, these things are a lot more cost effective because you get all these resources with them. I mean, to include the cost of the blade, I mean, they're worth $700 because they have $700 worth of gear. But as we're about to see, this is not going to be all. Jesus. All these people just, they're just like all over the place. And who's at the front? My guy. Who's right here? This dude. And the medic did start out with 20, with some athletic skills, so, which is why he's able to run, right? I mean, these guys start off with, I don't know, remember what level it was. You can look back in the recording, but basically, yeah, the sun's really annoying. I wish they'd make it a bit softer. I could probably switch some graphical settings somewhere, but I'm not up for that right now. It would be interesting if they implemented a stamina system where your character would get tired. That would change the dynamics of the game. Like I said, you can just run from bad guys forever, even if you're walking and overcome on your character. They just won't have time to do it. But I mean, stamina would create a lot of problems too for current ways of how you operate things. Is that a little town? It's actually a new little town. This is a newer patch for me, so I'm not completely used to everything here yet. We'll go see what that is, see if we can find somebody who wants to fight us over there. Looks like it's going to be friendly. Actually, I can check, can't I? Oh, it's not even on the map. Oh, that's just weird. I found another bug. I have 2 blue X's. This is the one that's moving as me, so that's just odd. Yeah, this actually reminds me of a town I made right here, actually. That's actually kind of funny that they went and took the spot that I took earlier. Actually, this is... I built this town. I am, like, 1,000,000% sure that I built this. I'm, like, so sure I built this. I'm pretty sure inside here I'm gonna see a bunch of the, storage facilities. Yeah. Holy. Holy bug. What the... There's like a store... I... I don't even... Yeah, these things should be full of building... Yeah, they're full of building material. This is a old town I built. I'm pretty sure I made a new game. This is also like 3 versions ago. This shouldn't even... These files should be corrupted and deleted and, you know, gone from all the I saw this town from a distance. I went, you know, I made a town there once. And I looked at the layout and I'm like, wait, I remember that. Because I built that. And then when I saw these 2 constructed buildings here, I'm like, oh, this can't be a coincidence. I mean, there can't be constructed. I don't... Game developers, why? Look, they can go, like, through the buildings, too, as well. I mean, like, look, there's a store inside here. This isn't supposed to be in here, but, like, this was my research building, because I needed a large research, because this one was my first one. Oh, God, they're stuck. They have to lockpick the door? That's funny. I would like to get out of the building. And then there's my stone quarries and my iron mine. I wanted to make an iron mine, I believe, and I never got around to it. But yeah, I was reprocessing all the stone and having them throw it in one of these buildings here, and I kept on upgrading buildings and building more. But I mean, this one wasn't. I mean, these signs weren't here because that's just odd. It looks like they tried to make a town out of my thing. It says trade up here. This wasn't a trade, but this was just a giant empty building I didn't want to build. I don't even understand. Oh my God, there should be a... Oh, I don't even want to... Okay. So... Just to show you, though, this is a type of thing, I mean, you can create a little settlement like this, you can build walls, too, now, so, like, that was really great. That's why I stopped that's why I stopped, actually, this file. I think I stopped playing is because too many roaming groups, and it just got really annoying because they were coming from all different directions, but... Wow, that is kind of a mind trip to... From a programming standpoint, that... How the hell does that get leaked into the... How does that happen? At all. Ever. Like... What the... I don't even have a comment. I mean, most bugs make sense. I mean, that kind of makes this map bug make more sense, though, because, like, why would there be 2 character icons? Because I believe that what actually made me stop playing this was that a glitch where my characters disappeared. I didn't have any characters. And this might be the position where I was when I lost my characters. And they lost, like, I loaded in one day and I didn't have any characters. And I could travel around the map, and I just was like, oh, well, that's not useful to me. So, oh, cool, there's a hover over thing now. That's cool. But, that is just weird. But that would explain that bug. So, just odd, but yeah. Okay. Let's look for that fight, though. Maybe I'll edit this down a little bit, I don't know. Probably not, because I'm lazy. What's this? It's like some sort of iron ore looking thing. It's weird. Looks like some sort of ore. Well then, that might be why there's no people either, is because the map is bugged. And the squad system doesn't work with it maybe, and I don't know. But we will see. I don't want this to take too long, but really just want to prove this little. Just want to show you some combat. And I'm going to show you the proper way of doing combat. Well, I want to say proper, I mean my preference towards efficiency and the best way to go about it, which is to have your men take on men of their skill level in the combat as a whole. Individually attacking one, having one-on-one battles is extremely beneficial to the tide of the battle. Just simply because, like, if you have 3 people on one guy and then 2 of them on one of your guys, then depending on everyone's skill levels, I mean, this is obviously can be really bad or really good, but overall, what you want to do is not be fighting somebody without the proper skills to be fighting them. And there's a certain amount of acceptable losses, of course. I mean, if your guy gets knocked unconscious, it's not the end of the world, but it is certainly the end of your travels, right? I mean, you gotta then carry him back to a town of some sort, and then have somebody able enough to carry him back to a town and who survived the fight. So lots of difficulty there. And I'm gonna call this a bit bugged and say, well, I don't think I can show you guys a fight because this is just barren. There is a glitch in an earlier version of the game where the squads would just roam outside of the map and get lost. That might be the case now because I don't see anyone, but like nobody, and this was actually a pretty traveled area. So we'll conclude this, and thank you for your time. Well then, we'll have to do it this way. I can edit this out, I swear. Exit. And then